And we're live. We're live. We're streaming. Pitching.
Rolling live.
We're rolling.
We're live and rolling.
Rolling.
Here it is.
Rolling on the river.
Welcome back to So I Married a Cinephile, guys. I'm Ben Farmer, and I'm a cinephile.
I'm Megan Carver, and am I a cine newbie
Have
still?
you graduated yet?
I don't know.
Okay.
We never discussed where that line ends.
Let's just do the line.
Okay. We watch all kinds of movies, new and old.
And we let you know if you should watch them too. Welcome back. So we're kicking it old school, going back to the 90s. Last week was Street Fighter, which came out in 1994. This year we're going back to 1993 promptly.
Well, no,
Disney movie.
Hang on a second. Before we dig into the movie, we need to have our rat-a-tat.
Yeah, I'm just
so
letting
charming.
them know what they can expect.
They don't need to know what.
This is not brought to you by Polar Seltzer Water. Polar, that's fizzy.
I'm sorry about all of this.
It really is very fizzy.
It is very fizzy, though. It is very
some
fizzy.
of the best fizzy water I've had.
Oh, but there you go.
Yes. A rat-a-tat, eh?
A rat-a-tat. This is a sterling example of said rat-a-tat.
A little back and forth.
A little back and
like
forth.
Like some sword fighting, which we got a lot of in this movie.
We have to have there is a formula that we have come up with. It goes, hello, how is your day? How is your day? Or week or whatever. Okay, great. Speaking of, say the movie title, and then we talk about it, and then we do trivia, and then we end it.
Well, now you guys know what's coming.
Now you know if you haven't listened to any of these episodes up until this point, and this is the first time you're watching and or listening, that's our podcast.
This is what we do.
This is what we do.
How are you, Megan?
I'm exhausted.
You had a big day.
I'm so tired.
Why are you tired?
I don't know. I suspect. I suspect that I am tired because I did a lot of stuff yesterday and a lot of stuff today.
What do you got going on?
I had a callback yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 auditions on top of that yesterday. And then I was filming today for a project that we're both working on. Yeah. And I also was working on my copywriting and copy editing stuff. And I also had a really intense workout. Thank you, Melissa Foster. Yesterday, I was
like, you didn't work out today.
I did not work out today. I did not work out today at all. So I'm very tired and I want to go to bed. But she
was so stoked to do this podcast.
I am stoked.
She is.
I can be more than one thing.
She just might leave to go do some jumping jacks and then come back.
Or can I go take a nap and then come back?
Yeah.
Just like a quick 15-second nap.
15 second?
Just a...
Okay. It's not like
God, I'm good.
Where you get an extra 5%.
Yeah, you just put it in for an extra 2% to get you home, so that you don't have to talk to the
Uber
driver. Yes, exactly. How are you, Ben?
I'm well. I'm kind of sleepy today.
I think
that's okay.
Just something in the air.
Maybe it's, I don't know. It was a little bit warmer than it has been. It almost got up to 60 up here in New Hampshire. The weather's definitely turned.
I also think, too, pollens are out and about.
Oh, man.
'Tis that time.
Yeah.
'Tis the season for shit floating.
That's right.
In the air.
So continue to wear your masks.
I know.
You go outside.
I actually, because Stafford asked, I love that now, it's every episode I talk about Stafford. He's like the ghostwriter of the show.
He's very much a part of the podcast.
Always something, yes.
Just like Polar fizzy water. Polar. Damn, that's fizzy.
Are you doing it because you want Polar to sponsor us, or because
it's flat?
From the time that you just drank it to now, it went flat?
It's more flat than it was a few minutes ago.
Well, you're almost at the end of it.
That's true. I'm going to finish this off.
All right. At any rate, what was I saying?
What did Stafford do now?
Stafford does
He was a part of the podcast.
He was a part of the podcast. What the hell did I just say?
Well, Stafford is as much of the podcast as Rocket is, or something like that.
Stafford is... I don't know.
Stafford did something funny?
He did...
He's just...
I know, he's waving at us right now, and he probably is going to see this in a couple of minutes. He's going to text me and be like, you were talking about this. But I'm so tired that I don't remember what I was talking about.
That's okay.
At any rate, if I remember, I'll say it.
Me.
Good.
Right.
That's neat. God damn it. That's
This
going to bug
was
me.
brought up.
Oh, no.
But I had a couple of really
Masks?
Masks?
We were talking about masks?
Was I not listening?
No. I mean, no. I don't remember.
That's
This
okay.
is horrible. I'm doing so terribly.
Rocket and I had some good walks outside.
Yes.
Yoga. I played
masks.
a video game. Masks.
Because
What we
Stafford
just
knows.
Yes.
Because like he was like, hey, look, you need to get some masks, and here's this place that you can buy 5 of them for $25, and they're like good quality and all this. And he's like, get them for your dog, get them for your husband, get them for everybody. And I was like,
immune as far as I know.
I know I'm being silly.
Oh,
but I was like,
there are some people who would like.
I already have a mask because my allergies were so bad last year that I had to wear a mask anytime that I was outdoors.
And then I felt silly for her having a mask and me not having one. And I think we were going to go.
We were going to do our trip for Christmas, right?
So I bought one for the plane ride in like November.
Right.
Thank the Lord we did that because
right.
now we have washable, reusable masks. So we're not like going through a bunch.
After all of this is over, I highly recommend wearing a mask when you're on an airplane because you're not breathing in all that recycled air.
Yeah.
And being around all the people that are sick.
And you don't know where they've been.
Right.
You just don't know where they've been. And I think I may have referenced this when Gabe was here in May for our birthday or when we were in New York.
Last year.
He was so surprised about how much Purell I was using.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you think about the surfaces that you touch, the people that you're around, especially living in New York City when you're super close to people who live on top of each other, you need to do everything you can to protect yourself.
And two, like I love the whole new conspiracy theory that the reason that COVID is happening is because of it's the 5G towers.
Oh, but didn't the Chinese
they rolled out
5G
around the same time, 2 months before COVID started happening.
Sure.
So that's what conspiracy theorists are saying. Even though there's COVID in Japan and a couple of other places and they don't have 5G.
I don't see how they're connected.
That's how conspiracy theory works.
I'm just gonna say that right now.
Yeah, I don't really it's not.
It's like their argument is faulty.
It doesn't hold up or something.
We gotta have the fringe though, we gotta have that fringe radical side.
But I'm like the reason why New York is the epicenter is because there's so many people and we literally live on top of each other.
Yes.
So it's not 5G. Don't blame it on Verizon.
Blame Verizon for everything else.
Blame Verizon for everything else. Literally.
Phone is slow.
But it's not responsible for COVID.
It's not.
It's just we've got too many people living in New York. I'm going to be the first one to say it. There's too many people living in New York.
The very first one.
Shira's calling.
Shira's calling.
Can take the.
Can I take this?
Sure. Shira's a friend of ours.
Hi, Shira.
I don't know if she's watching us as we're doing this. But she's calling. She's a friend of ours. She loves Rocket. Yeah. It was her birthday recently. No, she's not on speaker. But
what's going on?
Yeah. So at any rate, I like my favorite color is purple. I really enjoy. I don't like ice cream all that much. I do like ice cream, but it just makes my teeth hurt. So it's not horrible, but I gotta take my time with it. Also too,
absolutely.
When I was little, I was running on the playground and I was chasing after a girl who was trailing a jump rope behind her, and she's like, "You can't catch it." And I was like, "Yes, I can." And I jumped for it and I skidded my knees on the ground and got gravel all up in my knees. It's called a tights blowout. And they called my mom and said, "Hey, Megan fell down and scraped her knees." And my mom is like, "She's fine." She comes to pick me up and I've got 2 bloody sockets of stumps of legs on my knees. She said she's never forgiven herself for that. She totally can though. I'm fine. I've moved on. I'm okay. I was just covering while you were talking with lovely Shira.
So much. I assumed that you were telling the story.
Yes, I told people that I like the color purple, and while I like ice cream, it makes my teeth too cold.
Oh, it does when you bite into it.
Yeah.
You gotta soft palate.
I know. I eat yogurt weird. I've realized that. I need videos of people eating yogurt. If people could just on Instagram take a video of you eating yogurt.
You have yogurt every day.
I know I have yogurt every day, which is why I've become so aware of it that I eat yogurt really weird. I'm like, how? It's the weirdest thing. Like the spoons, I'm like, bah. There's
like how a dog pulls water.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm doing it with the spoon. I don't
care for that.
Speaking of
stories that people sort of enjoy.
Speaking of being interrupted by good friends, speaking of
I'm gonna let you go.
No. Help me.
Do you need a friend?
I need to phone a friend.
Don't we all need friends? How's 3 of them?
I would enjoy 3 friends.
Because we watched the
Three Musketeers. That was so bad.
Sloppy.
That was really rough.
Really
I mean,
shitty.
we've done bad, but that was horrible.
Pretty awful. The 1993 Three Musketeers, as of course promised on our Instagram, Walt Disney's Three Musketeers, and I think we wanted to change the title to Damn Disney.
We said Damn Disney 7 times
because this is
at
like
least.
This is pre-Pixar Disney. This is pre-Bob Iger Disney, so it's less a focus on like that family-friendly.
I mean, it's still technically supposed to be family friendly.
But
like
there are parts in this movie where I'm like, oh,
it's more like if
that's not okay for a PG movie.
No, if we were relating to today's Disney, it would be more like Pirates of the Caribbean level Disney.
Yeah,
but even more intense.
But even Pirates of the Caribbean was PG-13.
It was.
Yeah.
This was PG.
This was PG. Yeah.
That
crazy.
Damn Disney.
Craziness. Anyhow, it's billed as an American/Austrian action adventure comedy from Walt Disney Pictures. Because it was shot in Austria, maybe that's why they're trying to bill it as, I don't know.
I know. Jacob Bean Watson said that opening.
So
good.
It really is.
So good. Really all right, the plot.
Well, directed by Stephen
sorry.
Herrick. Top billing went straight to Charlie Sheen. He must have negotiated that.
Woo!
But this was like Charlie Sheen at like the height of his powers. After both Wall Street and Platoon, I think he shot Hot Shots Part 2 before he shot this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we'll get into that a little bit.
The hair would make sense.
Pretty brief plot synopsis for IMDb. France, 1625. Young D'Artagnan heads to Paris to join the Musketeers, but the evil Cardinal Richelieu has disbanded them. Save 3. He meets the 3, Athos, Porthos, and Aramis, and joins them on their quest to save the king and their country. Yeah. Based loosely on the novel by Alexander Dumas.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure he wrote numerous other Three Musketeers stories, including Man in the Iron Mask and like Three Musketeers 20 Years Later or some shit like that. I think there are a lot of Three Musketeers stories. I haven't read any of them, so don't quote me on that. I've just seen a lot of plays based on them.
Right.
So yeah, I remember seeing this movie in the theater. So I was 9 years old when I saw this movie. And really the only shots, I just remember a lot of cleavage and some pretty violent deaths in this movie.
Which, going back and watching it now, there were several times that we went, oh!
And there were also moments where I had a vague awareness of who Tim Curry was because I'd seen him in a few other movies in my childhood.
You knew he was good at being a bad guy.
Yeah, sort of like how Rachel Foskett was commenting about how Raul Julia in Street Fighter clipped her actor brain a little bit. I think Tim Curry did this for me a little bit in this movie because he's so fucking good.
You just want to eat it up.
All
Give
up.
Me a spoon.
Yeah. So should we just dive into the plot?
I want to just take a moment
take a breath
to give a disclaimer about this movie.
Yes.
So everybody else my age, which I think we were 7th grade? 6th grade?
No, because
I was
9.
You were 9, so I was 8. Okay, so I don't think I watched it when I don't think I watched it in 3rd grade.
I went to the theater.
I didn't see it in the theater. But at any rate, most girls my age were probably into Barbie and, classic Disney princesses. I watched this movie and I became obsessed with the Three Musketeers. And I'm going to get to that. I wanted me and my friends to be the 4, because there were 4 of us, Musketeers, and I drew pictures and I got everybody plastic swords and I wanted to have a Three Musketeers birthday party. I was fucking obsessed with this movie. And not long after this, I also watched Cutthroat Island, which made me even more obsessed with women pirate type swashbuckling things.
Such a flop of a movie. We should do that.
I love that movie. It's horrible, and I love it.
It was one of the worst movies ever made.
Amazing.
Epic story.
It's amazing.
Wow.
So this movie holds a very special place in my heart because this was like the first time that I had romantic feelings about a guy that I can remember, and the first time that I like wanted to be a hero and not be Jasmine or Belle. I wanted to fucking stab someone, and now I know why after watching it again. Like
there's a lot of fun
20 years later,
swashbuckling, like horse. I say horseplay, but I actually mean it in the
actual literal horse.
Right. The same guy who did the stunts for one of my favorite movies, The Mask of Zorro, Bob Anderson, did all of the fight choreography, the fencing, and
that makes a lot of sense.
And the stunt work for this movie. He actually plays the King's sparring partner in that short scene.
Him!
The old guy.
Oh!
Yeah. So he's very old school Hollywood. He lived until he was like 89.
Wow.
But he did a lot of these swashbuckler action movies that came out sort of sporadically in the 70s. They came back a little bit in the 90s. But I was wondering if he did it because you sort of see the same kind of flair that you see in Mask of Zorro that you see in this.
I totally agree.
The stunt work is amazing. It's, of course, all practical.
Agree.
This is before CG even came close to showing up. So there's a lot of appreciation there. But it also stars Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt. Do we want to talk about it?
We don't want to talk about it yet. I'm going to get to that. I have it in my notes. I know when I'm going to talk about it.
90s Chris O'Donnell, who plays D'Artagnan.
That hair.
Before that hair, man.
I mean, hang on just a second. If you're watching on the live stream, this is pretty much what his hair looked like.
Oh, that's what Rochefort's hair looked like. The guy with the eye patch.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
No, he had a sweep back. I mean, the sweep back was partly because of the eye patch.
It was a little like Joan Jett.
That hair is so intense. Yeah. All the hair is intense.
Just
but
bouncy.
It's the first thing I wrote down. I was like, oh, they're fighting in a field. ... All caps. That hair.
And I mentioned that Tim Curry plays Cardinal Richelieu. Rebecca De Mornay also gives a supporting role. I want to give a special shout out to Michael Wincott, who plays Rochefort, who is sort of Richelieu's assassin, sidekick, former musketeer turned bad.
Oh!
But he played Guy of Gisborne in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which is a movie that I would love to do.
A bit of crossover here.
Yeah, but he played the exact same role. He was Alan Rickman's
literally
in that one.
Literally the exact same role.
I haven't taken a look at his IMDb really, but I imagine he gets a lot of those villainous roles just because he has
that gravelly voice. He's the poor man's Johnny Depp. Like it's just but then he knows how to fence.
Yeah.
So
and he's brilliant in this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a top-notch cast. I would only pick bones with Kiefer Sutherland. He seems a little out of place in this movie, and I can't quite put my finger on why. But Charlie Sheen, Oliver Platt, and maybe Chris O'Donnell to a point all kind of fill their roles.
They have
especially
strong perspectives that they bring to the role.
I never got.
And there was very little justification for Keith Sutherland's characterization of the character.
Yeah,
in my humble opinion,
me just never like his character.
He has stuff. He has stuff.
There's like this whole backstory.
There's this massive backstory which we'll get into. Yeah. But it's like the stuff is there, and he just didn't dig into it.
Maybe not. I don't know.
It's like it was there. The exposition explained it, but you just didn't quite believe it.
He didn't really like. Yeah.
It wasn't 100% commitment.
It seemed effortless from like Oliver Platt and Charlie Sheen. Like they just. It was almost like Charlie Sheen just kind of rolled out of bed and he was like, "Okay, this is what I'm doing today."
Yep.
Just put on my costume and make some jokes.
Right.
I'm not going to use my eyebrows. I'm just going to talk like this.
I'm just going to talk like this.
And Oliver Platt is fucking amazing. He's like the New York actor, the flamboyant, one of the Musketeers, where he's just making all the jokes, and he's like this infamous sort of piratish musketeer.
So let's start it back. Let's backtrack, because one of my favorite things is that we describe the plot kind of poorly. I think that's one of my favorite things about. Right. No, I got it. Yeah. So we start out first thing off with this intense opening. With the big boat on the mist?
Yeah.
And what happened?
It's very like paganish, because that's the boat that has like the dragon head.
Yeah.
Right?
And Oh, balls.
Yeah.
It's a really great opening, and I forget what happened.
I forget what happens, too.
It was something about...
Doesn't it open with D'Artagnan fighting that guy?
No. It starts with
Jacob,
something
I'm
below.
so sorry. I feel
no,
like
I know. Jacob's like going to have a fit. No, it started out with the boat underneath the...
Is Tim Curry on the boat?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's wearing the breastplate.
Right.
And they go to the Bastille or whatever that is.
Yeah.
And they're holding somebody prisoner.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
they're trying to get
Curry's
information about the king or something.
Something like
I
that.
don't remember.
Because there's like this whole backstory of them trying to Rocket's really dreaming here. Wow.
Wow.
Right.
Rocket's dreaming, and when he dreams, sometimes he like starts to run.
so you can see him gyrating back.
Jacob Bean Watson said one less mouth to feed. The torture scene. So it's the torture scene.
Was that like a...
I can't remember
one less mouth to feed. Was that like a Catholic Church joke?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay. I mean, Tim Curry, of course, pulled it off. I'm like,
oh
I don't know what that means, but I buy it.
Done. Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
He's clearly the
and
bad
then
guy.
we cut to above ground where D'Artagnan is fighting Foppish Man.
Yeah.
And the Foppish Man is mad because he slept with his sister?
Yes. He said he, quote unquote, defiled his sister's honor.
Okay. Yes. And then he fought him, and he's like, look, bitch, I can't stay around to fight your squeaky ass. I got to go be a musketeer.
His name is Paul McGann, and I guess he was in the Doctor Who movie as the Doctor. Any Doctor Who fans out there? I have not watched Doctor Who.
Hey, there you go.
Right over my head.
But anyway. So then he gets really mad, and there's this whole fight thing, and then D'Artagnan's like, look, I gotta go. And he runs off.
Rides off.
He rides off on a horse.
On a horse.
And then, oh my God, though. Like can I just say that D'Artagnan's a massive dick. Like he's
kind of a
dick. Like I was like
he wants to be a musketeer, and musketeers are all about honor.
He interjects himself into any and every situation that comes up. Mm-hmm. Like when he's trying to go to see the musketeers, but then he sees these two women who he believes are being chased by these two bandits.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, they clearly must be chasing. I should save them. It's like, those could be their brothers, and they're just a couple feet ahead.
He concusses them both.
He concussed them both.
They both have concussions.
And then the woman's like, those were the king's or the queen's guards that you just... And she's
the queen's handmaid.
Yes.
Right. Julie Delpy.
She's like, that was kind of rude of you. And he's like, well, I'm a loose cannon. I'm going to be a musketeer. You like that shit? And she's like, I'm a lady in waiting. I can't be with a musketeer, so good luck with that, but bye. I mean, but meanwhile, it's not like that. They're actually like, oh, I'm not allowed to be with a musketeer. He's like, oh, really? Lady in waiting? Oh, stop. Like, it's like that.
A little bit.
And then we cut to later on when he's trying to go be a musketeer, and Foppish Man shows up again.
Right.
And then
there's another chase. I think.
Right. No, because he chases after him, and that's when he falls on Porthos's card game.
Oh, right.
And that's when the first duel challenge comes up, which
he's like, meet me here at 1:00 and we'll fight.
If you stubbed a guy's toe, that means back then you were going to fight to the death.
Well, before that, he goes to the castle, but this is after the Musketeers have been disbanded by Richelieu.
Whoa, all the way back.
And he runs into Kiefer Sutherland first, and he's like, "Whoa, dude, where are the Musketeers? What the hell happened?"
Right, because the Musketeers
have been disbanded. Tim Curry did that because he wanted to send all of them off to fight in the war with England, which hasn't happened
yet. They're thinking it's going to happen. It's like,
but now the king has less protection. He's more vulnerable because the Musketeers were disbanded by the Cardinal, who wants the throne for himself.
And when that happens, all the Musketeers throw all their stuff on a fire. Which I'm like,
but they all have spares, as it turns out.
I know. Like, I was like, what?
They have spare
you guys just have
swords.
2? Like, and you just...
They were issued 2 when they became a musketeer. Like, okay, here's the one you wear.
That's
here's
expensive.
One for the wash.
At any rate.
You don't want to wear the same one every day.
No, but, back then I'm thinking... anyways, So
Kiefer Sutherland challenges Chris O'Donnell to a duel at noon.
Yes.
He runs into Oliver Platt, luckily, challenges him to a duel at 1, runs into Charlie Sheen. Well, Charlie Sheen falls on him.
Right, because Charlie
Sheen is a priest.
priest.
He used to be a cardinal.
He's trying to teach a man's wife about the Bible.
But her boobs are out.
Her boobs are like,
Out.
I'm not.
Such a
I didn't understand what you were saying about original sin.
What is that accent?
What?
Where
it's
are you
just,
from, my dear?
I'm not from.
Where are you from, my child?
I'm from Mufrasanan.
Mufrasanan?
It's.
I
I'm
have to do
so
my Charlie Sheen
sorry.
one. Oh, that's fascinating.
You have to say a little louder so that.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, I'm from Mufrasanan. I'm sorry, Father.
My father is Martin Sheen.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that. Really?
Yes, Martin Sheen.
I didn't know that.
They look exactly
It's
alike.
like Smiths. It's the Dons all over again.
And
Don Corleone.
And the director who directed this, we're getting into trivia a little bit. The director who directed this directed The Mighty Ducks with Charlie Sheen's brother from another mother, Emilio Estevez.
Emilio!
Martin Sheen's son with another woman by the name of Estevez.
Okay.
Yes.
So.
Anyways.
At any rate.
So now he has duels with Porthos, Athos, Aramis.
Busy day.
And they all show up at the same time.
Place,
and they're like, wait a minute, you have a fight with this guy? I have a fight with this guy.
Yep.
So they're about to, do the deed. Him and Kiefer are going to go at it.
Yes.
And then the King's Guard, the Cardinals Guard, whatever these guys are.
The Cardinals Guard
the Catholic Army show up
They're
to
like,
arrest.
Hey, we need to arrest you guys because remember, you're not supposed to be Musketeers.
Yeah, you've been disbanded. Cardinal Richelieu wants to arrest you three because you're Musketeers.
Right. And they're like, no. So then
screw that.
Fight happens.
Big fight.
Which also, like, everybody dies.
People getting run.
It's not like this is Disney when it was like we're not just gonna like knock them out and make them fall down. It was like run through, slash.
It stabs without blood. There's a little bit of blood in this movie.
There is a little bit of blood,
but there's like there's a lot of sound effects to where like, oh, that guy just got stabbed and he's dead.
Yep.
But they don't like really show the violence.
Yep.
It's just enough to where you can make it a PG movie.
Mm-hmm.
But there's that scene before where Rochefort shows up
at a bar, right?
To arrest the three at a bar.
Yeah.
Before all of this duel stuff.
Yep. And Charlie, like all of these guards, like there's like 20 guards.
They're tied up,
laying on the ground.
And Charlie Sheen's just like
cleaning blood
off of his sword.
I
thought he was just polishing.
No, he had red all over that handkerchief. Yep.
And then Porthos comes down on a chandelier, crushes like 8 guards. They're all dead. And Rochefort's like, well, game's afoot. You win this round.
Oh, you will win the battle, but not the war.
Yes, and so they all escape, and then
that's the
whole duel thing.
So then now they're like, okay, well now we have to like go into hiding because the Cardinals are coming after us.
And now D'Artagnan is like sort of part of the group.
He's like a diet musketeer.
Because he's like, I want to be a musketeer.
That sounds like
I'll fight along you guys.
Ever.
It really is. If anyone likes Three Musketeers candy bars, I don't know what to do for you.
I do know people that like Three Musketeer candy bars.
That's like liking that's like liking an Almond Joy.
No, but the reason why this is so awful. The reason why I know
I'm just giving you my opinion.
Like Three Musketeers bars is because I volunteered at a retirement home. And
where you gave them Three Musketeers? Yeah,
we had bingo.
Don't do that.
And we had bingo, and if you won, you won a candy bar. And the Three Musketeers were always the first one to go because they're soft.
Oh, and because back then candy bars weren't made with much because it was the 20s.
When I was in,
no, I'm saying these people at this home are used to eating.
No. It's because their teeth. Rice. They don't have any teeth.
Right. So they can just gum it?
They can just gum a
That's essentially what you can do with this movie is just kind of gum it.
You can just gum it?
You can just
no.
Yeah.
This is a great movie.
It's a great movie. But
it's
even like diehard Three Musketeers fans, not the candy bar, but the actual novel.
They
can be like, it'll get the job done. So now they're on the run from Cardinal Richelieu.
Yes.
I guess now Richelieu has hired an assassin with a rifle to kill the king at his birthday.
Because he wants to kill the king, and this is when Pinocchio shows up. Did you not notice that?
His nose.
He is. He's Pinocchio.
He's got this Prince Valiant haircut, but this very long nose. And it's not a prosthetic. It's actually his nose.
He looks like the king from Shrek.
He looks like
the king from Shrek, but a really tall Farquaad. That is exactly what he looks like. He's tall Farquaad with a longer nose. And he acts like a pussy.
He really does.
The whole
Well, he's
the
a
whole
kid.
show.
Like King Louis, I guess his father died young or something.
Yes, he was
and then
assassinated.
He inherited the throne as essentially a teenager.
Right. And then effectively in the interim, the cardinal was kind of just keeping it under his
young king.
thumb.
I feel like I can like take over here. The king is now married to who's a princess of Austria.
Something.
The Queen of Austria.
Yeah.
And
so
anyways,
right.
About
So
to
at
go to
any
war
rate,
with England.
ultimately Tim Curry is like, look, if I can assassinate the prince, king. Then I will just take over.
Yes.
And so
he gets him out on the balcony. He's waving happy birthday to the crowd because they've all come out to see the king.
No, that's way later.
Oh, really? What am I skipping?
We're missing a lot.
Oh, doesn't Chris O'Donnell like stumble upon the plot to?
So we've got Lady Sexy De Winter.
Oh my God, Rebecca De Mornay and her
and her massive titties.
Oh my God. Well, it's the corset.
I know it's the corset.
That's what corsets do?
Yeah,
right,
they bind and push. It's down low.
I don't know how you breathe. I don't know how you do it.
I've had to do a show with a corset. So Lady De Winter and Tim Curry, she's like, okay, I'm going to take this treaty and I'm going to take it over to England. And it basically says something that we're not going to go to war as long as the cardinal becomes the king.
Right.
I can't remember exactly, but effectively that's what it is.
Something like that.
It's a treaty that says that
Tim
puts
Curry's
him
like,
into power.
You'll call me your majesty.
Right.
And there are moments in I have to stop and just give another shout out to Tim Curry. There are moments in this movies where the villains have like these big outbursts, and then there's like this big sort of lion's roar sound effect that goes with them, or thunder or something. And there's this point where Tim Curry like points down the balcony. He's like, "Kill those musketeers." And then, like, this big thunderclap happens. And you're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, or like when she's like, I would rather be dead than bow down to you. He's like, that can be arranged.
It's so fucking great.
It's so great. So Lady De Winter, he's like, all right, bitch. So you've killed all your husbands. She's like, yeah. He's like, all right, so here's this treaty. Why don't you go deliver it? And maybe I'll make you my wife and you won't kill me. She's like, all right.
But he's also trying to, like, bed the king's wife. He's trying to, like, sleep with the queen.
He just wants any kind of royal puss. I don't know. He's off. What? Now there are friends that we have that are Catholic where that's not the case. This is corrupt, evil people.
Catholics like 500 years ago.
Sure.
Sure.
Even then, I'm sure there were let's not paint the Catholic brush.
Cardinal Richelieu gave Catholics a bad name. That's all I'm saying.
This is where it is. This is why cardinals get such a bad rap. Is Tim Curry and the Three Musketeers?
He did his job.
It's a damn shame. We should get a GoFundMe going for something
for the victims of Cardinal Richelieu.
Richelieu. I don't know. So at any rate,
anyway.
So basically, she's gonna go, and then Chris O'Donnell, who has since been captured, at some point, he's in the prison.
He's in the best.
And the eye patch guy has his dad's sword and is like, "Oh, this is a nice sword." He's like, "It's my dad's." He's like, "Well, it's mine now." And then Chris O'Donnell oversees this little exchange. And then Tim Curry catches him before he can get away.
And so they sentence him to death.
Yep.
He goes to the town square to get beheaded.
Yep.
But the Three Musketeers have shown up in disguise.
Shock.
As the guy who cuts off the head. The executioner.
Executioner.
And like the priest and whatever.
Yeah.
And Charlie Sheen's there is like, don't worry, my son. We're going to get you out of this.
Right.
And then Porthos is like, oh, I got this axe from the Empress of Japan or something.
DeLorean. I don't know. DeLorean.
And so there's this huge fight.
And then they run away.
They run away.
And they have to split up yet again.
Right.
And then
they're on their way to Calais because that's where Madame de Winter is headed with the treaty.
So they're like, we have to stop her.
Right.
Now, in the meantime, while all this is happening, they also manage to, I can't remember when. They blow up a bunch of stuff, but then they also get to this pub.
Yes.
Where there's this really weird...
Well, the first musical number
exchange. That would be so great. The I've Got a Dream from Tangled.
That's essentially
what should have happened. Is I've Got a Dream from Tangled.
And he's got a dream to be a musketeer.
He does. Right. So Porthos is sitting with two women on his lap. Charlie Sheen is sitting there being.
It's a weird scene.
It's weird because they're trying to teach Chris D'Artagnan how to woo a woman,
either by physically accosting her or lying to her with words.
Yes,
this is sort of the Cogsworth opinion of flowers, chocolates, promises you don't intend to keep.
Yep, sounds like Disney, all right.
So yeah, Porthos is trying to convince him.
You just have to kiss her. You have to kiss her good.
And Charlie Sheen's like,
no, you have to sway her with words and poetry. Yes. So
and they both end up kissing the same woman while Chris O'Donnell's just like, huh.
Yeah.
It's a weird scene. It's very voyeuristic. It is. And then we go back to Kiefer Sutherland, who's getting drunk by himself in the back. And he's like, oh, what's wrong with Kiefer? And he's like, well, he just drinks. He takes drinking seriously. Yes.
And then you come to find out because he tells Chris O'Donnell,
he has this whole past romance with Rebecca De Mornay, but she's been
No, we don't know it's her yet.
Oh, okay. Well, spoilers.
If you haven't seen this movie, massive spoilers
it's
all
30
over the
years
place.
old. My God.
But see it.
But
so he's like, yeah, I had a wife, or though he talks about it as if it's not him. Wife? Yeah. Oh. He talks about it like it's not him, but it's so obvious that it's him. He's like, there was this guy, and he had a wife. And he was in love with her, and then he found out she had a friggin' tattoo.
And she was branded for death.
She was branded for murder.
Oh, because she killed her husband.
Because she killed her husband.
Right.
And she said it was...
What a backstory here,
the wife was like, oh, no, I didn't do it. I was wrongly accused.
And he turns her over?
And he turns her over, but then he's like, so then he just had a shit life. So you're like, okay, that's clearly you.
You don't really have a shit life, though.
But that's the part where it's like he needed to be darker, he needed to be rougher, he needed to be meaner in order to make that character work, and it didn't happen.
Before he started talking about all that shit, like you would have no idea what this guy's been through.
Through hell and back. No,
he essentially turned in his own wife.
Yeah, because he turned in his own wife for murder, knowing that she would be killed.
That's crazy.
That's what it was. Did you not catch that?
I mean, I caught it after the pub monologue, but before then, I would have. No clue.
No, wouldn't have known that this man was a tortured soul. So then they continue on and they get caught up again. The guards find them. Oh, because there's a price on their head. So everyone and their mom is trying to kill them.
I prefer.
There's
this scene where Tim Curry is like, I'm going to put a bounty on their heads. And he's talking to Rochefort like this. And the camera's here. And it just teaches you so much about
we're gonna
Tim Curry's camera awareness. He's like, he's talking to Rochefort like this.
Oh,
price on their heads. Yes. I want them all dead or alive. And then he says, I prefer dead.
Oh,
he turns his face out just enough because he knows right where the camera is. I'm like,
knows where it is.
This guy.
Knows where it is.
Anyway, so there's a price on their heads. The Catholic army is after them now, essentially.
Everyone's after them.
They all split up again. Chris O'Donnell ends up escaping, leaving Kiefer Sutherland to maybe die because they're pinned down by gunfire.
Right.
Guns were around.
And then, so he runs along.
He passes out in the road.
He passes out in the road and gets picked up by Lady De Winter.
Wow.
So when did he pass her?
Train. Right.
When did he pass her?
I don't know when, because they apparently got ahead of her.
Yeah, because he got ahead of her because he was trying to beat her. So he got ahead of her.
She picks him up, strips him of all his clothes, puts him in bed, and this is the shot that I remember. It's a very specific shot in this movie where Chris O'Donnell wakes up, and there is a bird's eye view camera of Chris O'Donnell and then Rebecca De Mornay's
down the Grand Canyon.
Right there. And as a 9-year-old boy at a Disney movie, that leaves an impression. Two very big impressions. Chris, I was Chris O'Donnell in that scene. Like, he's like, where are my clothes? Who are you, lady? I don't know what I'm supposed to. My special purpose. I don't know what I'm feeling right now, and I'm really uncomfortable.
So
that happens. She tries to kill him.
Yes,
like she seduces him into kissing him.
She's aware of the fact that he knows.
Right.
So
she pulls out this cool little hairpin knife.
Right.
And he's like, no, don't you do it. And she's like,
Bites him off.
God's out.
And then shows her shoulder to show, there's the brand that what's his name was talking about.
Branded Dude. She's got this huge brand on her shoulder.
Yeah, she's got this giant brand. The fleur de lis.
It's you.
You're the wife.
You can be the only one. You can be the only one in the world with this tattoo.
Yeah, there's nobody else that's ever committed a murder.
It's so weird that I heard that story.
I just heard it. The story needs to happen.
Is that Chris O'Donnell?
Yeah, that's great. Actually, that's not correct in any way, but
I'm gonna be Robin.
I think that's right. I'm gonna be Robin. Movies. Oh my god.
Awesome.
So then, wait, what happens?
So
then
they bundle up Chris O'Donnell into a cart because the Chinese guy knocks him out.
Right.
The Asian American knocks him out. Sorry, not the Chinaman. But
wow.
He gets knocked out. They all go into a cart and they start barreling towards the ship that's going to take them to England. But again,
that's right.
Porthos and Aramis are on the ship,
and all of these people, all the crew
are dead. They've been posed like it's Reach for the Gun from Chicago. Like they're all just
over the ship, and I'm like, these bitches are dead,
pulling rope.
They're
all dead, and they posed them dead. They're just like pushing everybody. Like these men are dead, and then they're like, surprise!
Oh my god!
Porthos and Aramis pop out. And they start fighting
giant
everybody.
Fight, and there was the fight with the ninja guy where he's like, and Porthos like, and just cuts the thing, and then he drops to his death.
I again have to say Oliver Platt's brilliant in this movie because again, a lot like Raul Julia knew what Street Fighter was. I feel like Oliver Platt knew what this
character was.
1,000.
This is, by the way, for anyone that has only seen Oliver Platt after he got extremely heavy. Yeah. This is Oliver Platt when he was more like mild dad bod.
Yeah,
like
he was working a lot.
He was doing a good job. He wasn't like
all of these guys were working pretty consistently in the 90s.
Yeah,
and this was like sort of right before Chris O'Donnell kind of skyrocketed.
Right, this was like his little thing that got him there. He got that Disney.
This is after Dead Poets Society. He got him with Disney.
Right,
he's about to get cast in Batman Forever.
And then, anyway. So
Kiefer shows up and he's like, "It's you, my ex-wife."
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
And then the guy is like, "Where's the bitch? She killed my brother. Right. Where's the money?"
Oh, that's right.
She killed my brother.
He killed my. I want that dog dead. Yeah, this guy shows up out of nowhere and he's like, "That woman killed my brother."
Where the hell this guy?
I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Who is this guy? He's like, "You killed my brother. We gotta kill this bitch." And so then during all of this, Kiefer. That's a drink.
It's like
that is a probiotic drink.
Take the Keebler elves, but change the B to an F. They're Kiefler.
I know. Kiefler.
They're not Kiefler.
Lose the L.
So Kiefer
is an actual probiotic drink.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
So Kiefer.
My dad brews kefir.
Kefir's good for your tummy.
Yes.
Good for your flora.
So Kiefer sees Lady De Winter and was like, "Oh shit! My ex-wife, you're alive."
And then jilted brother comes up and he's like, "This woman's under arrest for killing my brother. Her ex-husband.
I'm gonna kill her." And then they have words where he basically says to her in prison, like, "Hey, could you tell me like what the plan is to assassinate the king? Because I have a feeling you know."
Right.
And she's like, "Well, life hasn't been kind to me, so no." And he's like, "Okay, well that's kind of shitty, but I can't really blame you since I turned you in for a murder you didn't commit." She's like, "Well, I killed people since then, so it's fine."
So she didn't kill the guy?
No.
Oh.
She didn't kill anyone.
Oh.
But then after she was spurned by her...
How did she become an assassin?
Because she was thrown away by Kiefer Sutherland for something she didn't do.
Okay.
So then she, rather than, she basically, I think, was so scarred by that she's like, well, I better fulfill the prophecy.
Has anyone read the novel? Fulfill the prophecy?
I don't know.
Like Anakin Skywalker?
Yes.
She
had to do it. She had no choice.
Oh my God.
So basically she's been arrested.
They're going to throw her off a cliff.
No. They're going to just kill her.
Oh.
They're going to cut off her head.
Well, they take her to the edge of a cliff to cut off her head.
Which I didn't understand why all the Musketeers came with her. Like, I would understand maybe the ex-husband to come with. But they're all like, you know what? We should all go with her to watch her get beheaded.
Official business or something?
It was weird that they all came. But at any rate, so they all go to the top of this Moore's Cliff or something.
Yeah.
And they're going to chop off her head. And right before Kiefer runs, he's like, no. And he's like, oh, I love you. Forgive me. And she's like, I've forgiven you. Hey, by the way, they're going to kill him at his birthday party. Whee!
And then she jumps off.
Jumps off of a cliff, which I always thought was it was a weird choice.
It was a weird choice.
Again, maybe it's in the book. It's probably in the book. Maybe it's not in the book.
But her name is Sabine. And
Sabine.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's in the book and what's in this movie. I'm sure they took some liberties.
Which was, again, it wasn't even just like she jumped off the cliff and we're like, oh, okay. You actually saw her body fall.
You didn't see it. You didn't see the impact.
Damn
Disney. Like, you give us cleavage, you give us suicide,
like people dying all over the place
for a very young person to process.
Yeah, and this is
an impressionable
Disney.
Young boy.
So then they're like,
now Kiefer's like, okay, we have to go save the king.
Right.
My character hasn't changed at all.
Meanwhile, the king is like, I don't really want a birthday party, and Tim Curry is like,
oh, but you must.
But you must.
You must go out on the balcony.
He's so thrilled and cannot wait. And he's like, okay, I'll have the birthday party because I'm really. Even though I've been married to her for a while, I don't know how to be around her. It's awkward.
Again, and then in the movie theater.
And then she, on the other hand, is like, I don't think we should throw this party. And Tim Cruise is like, oh, you must. He's so excited about it.
Coronation or whatever, they're like walking towards the balcony, and the king's like, no, the queen's like, I don't trust Richelieu. And he's like, well, shit,
I don't either.
And Richelieu is literally behind them. I'm like, both of you need to shut the hell up because he is right behind you.
It's not like a ways back. It's like 2 feet.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's like, what do we do? He's like, I don't fucking know. Like, he actually says, I don't know. Like, you're the king. Do something.
And so at this point, don't the Three Musketeers just show up to the palace?
Yes.
And all the Catholic army is like, no. And
Rochefort's
like, what the fuck are you guys doing here?
And then while all this is happening,
on their way back to France, they're shooting all these messages to former Musketeers in the town saying, all for one, one for all. They're trying to get the Musketeers
to come back
together so they can storm the castle.
Yes. So then at the birthday celebration, there's an assassin up on the roof, and Chris O'Donnell sees it.
Right.
And so he's like runs over and he knocks the guy off. And then Chris O'Donnell and the
sniper guy
fight up on the roof. Roof fight.
And then on the ground level, you have all these peasants show up who then like throw off their robes, and God bless the costuming in this show because you can see like they were all just reversible tunics, and then all the musketeers show up and then
fight their way in.
Fight their way in
to protect the king.
And Richelieu makes his escape. He takes the king and tries to escape.
Right.
And then Charlie Sheen tries to stop him.
Right. But let's not forget the prison guy.
Oh, okay. Well, this is after Aramis and Porthos start chasing Richelieu down into the cavern.
Right. I feel so bad for people listening. They're probably so confused about what's going on. But okay, so
you have to watch the movie for yourself.
So basically at this point, Tim Curry is trying to get the king and the queen away so that he can potentially kill them and then take over.
Correct.
So the Musketeers are trying to save him. Chris O'Donnell is fighting Rachmaninoff,
who killed his father.
He finds out had killed his father because he was the musketeer that betrayed the Musketeers
and cut his eye. Right.
Yeah. So they're fighting, and then Porthos. In the meantime, the Three Musketeers go down into the cellar to try to figure out where Tim Curry took
they have to
the king
split
and queen
because there are all these caverns.
So they all split up, and Porthos goes to where the torture chamber and prisons are. And earlier in the movie, you saw this big-ass, fat, like, beast of a man with boils all over his face.
Looks like he ran into a wasp nest.
Yeah. And so he fights him. I remembered this.
I didn't remember
everything. I remember there were like 2 other things I remembered, but I remembered this. I didn't remember how he died, but I remembered it was really intense.
Yes.
Because he's fighting, and then all of a sudden, Porthos kicks him in the chest, and he rams back into a wall of spikes.
And he like creeps up to the body. It's like getting close, and he's still alive
because he goes, "No!" There's like blood coming out of
cuts this rope and then another half of the wall closes
Slams
in on
on
this
him.
guy, and we're like,
Damn,
"Damn, Disney! What the fuck was that?
What the fuck just
That was
happened?
very
That
violent.
was so
That
intense.
was very violent.
Like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh my god!
So then they finally
They get to the boat.
They get to the boat. They see Tim Curry.
Tim Curry's like, "You've lost. I'm going to take them, and I'm going to
I'm
kill
going
them.
to come back
King."
stronger than before.
And then
Charlie
Kiefer's like,
Sheen.
I have the paper here. Where the
I
fuck
have
are
the
you going?
treaty.
He's like,
I'll
doesn't
figure
matter.
it out.
And as it turns out, Charlie Sheen is on the boat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen is on
He's
the
like,
boat.
No, I'm not so fast, Tim Curry.
And then Tim Curry, the whole thing there is that Charlie Sheen's character wanted to be a priest.
Yes.
But couldn't cut it, so he became a musketeer?
Something like that. He used to be like a protege to Richelieu or something.
So then Richelieu was like, oh, you wouldn't ever heard of Man of God
Cloth. Yeah,
or whatever. And then the king is like, well, I would, and just punches him straight across the face.
Punches him in the face into the water. We're led to believe that he survives, but we don't
see him ever again.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing.
I forget historically how Richelieu died.
Yes.
Anyways.
And then that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
Then
Chris O'Donnell is getting his ass kicked by Rochefort. Rochefort's about to kill him.
Except for the lady in waiting.
The lady in waiting shows up in the nick of time, throws Chris O'Donnell his father's sword. He runs Rochefort through, and another pretty violent.
Yeah, because he's going like this. He's about to stab him downwards.
Prince of Thieves style.
And then
he
Prince
hits
of
him
Thieves
here.
style hits him right here, and it just and even
he takes a while to die.
He takes a while to die. Not only that, but he also says. He's like, well, I guess you wouldn't have made a very good musketeer. And then he gets stabbed, and he says, I may have been mistaken. And it was gargled.
Yeah, right.
It was gargled with blood.
Oh, because there's a sword inside.
Like, it was things like that I'm just like...
These things leave an impression.
Damn, Disney. Damn.
So, anyways, all the bad guys are subdued or dead.
The Musketeers have been reinstituted.
King Valiant's like, what do you want, D'Artagnan? I'll give you anything. And
if Pinocchio and Farquaad had made a baby,
right.
That's what he looked like.
I'm a real boy, right. So Chris O'Donnell becomes a musketeer, and
then he kisses the lady in waiting, which I thought they weren't supposed to.
Yeah. They're just like, no, let's...
and then they sing this song that Ben freaks the fuck out about.
The movie ends. I forgot about the song "All for Love" by Rod Stewart, Bryan Adams, and Sting. It came on right when the movie ended, and I lost my mind. I'm like, oh my god! I totally forgot about "All for Love."
Oh my god!
You have like three of the biggest recording artists.
It's so
of the 90s,
cheesy.
Bryan Adams especially.
It's so bad.
Cheese, but it was a #1 hit. So let's just leave it at that.
At any rate.
So that's the movie.
It's amazing.
It's awesome.
It's a fucking great movie.
I cannot say I've seen it since I saw it in the theaters.
I can't remember. I know that I've watched it
25 years.
I watched it several times.
Really?
Several times.
I may have watched it once, but I couldn't remember any of it except for boobs.
No, because again, I was obsessed with this movie.
I didn't remember the rack death, but I did remember the Rochefort fight and Tim Curry being amazing.
Tim Curry is always amazing. He's a god. And
shall we dive into a little bit of trivia?
Yeah, let's dive into trivia.
All right.
Cue the trivia music. Dun 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 bum bum.
Gabrielle Anwar, who played the Queen, married to the King, was actually pregnant at the time.
Really?
So she had to let all her costumes out.
Would not have known that.
Kiefer Sutherland, Chris O'Donnell, and Oliver Platt had to go through 6 rigorous weeks of fencing and horse riding lessons.
Yes.
Charlie Sheen was finishing up the second Hot Shots movie and just showed up like the day before he had to film. So you'll notice in the fights that Charlie Sheen isn't as I wouldn't say fluid because he's capable.
Maybe he doesn't have quite as much to do.
I don't think they made the fights with Charlie Sheen as complicated because he had to miss all of that practice. And I guess he hated riding horses in general, like in real life. So he just, I don't know.
I love riding horses.
So after filming, Chris O'Donnell actually kept his sword, but it was disputed that he actually stole it without permission. It's disputed that he accidentally took it home.
How can you accidentally take a sword home?
It's just like, oh, whoops. How'd this get in my trunk? It's up on his fucking fireplace mantle.
What the?
Probably.
Dude, ask for it. Just ask.
Just Disney. I'm sure
just ask. Ask props.
The dungeon scenes were filmed at a place called Siegrad in Austria It's an old mine which was flooded in the early 1900s due to an underground water source and was later used by the Nazis during World War II to conduct military research.
What?
The site is now open to the public and is famous for its underground lake. The scene decoration on one of the prison cells, as well as the Dragon Head boat, are still kept intact and can be visited.
What?
Isn't that wild?
So we could go there, and then we could also go to the Neverending Story place.
Yeah. Oh man, these movies that leave an impression.
Yes.
I don't know if I can go to the Neverending Story place.
No, just go back and listen to
Disney
the Neverending
actually
Story
wanted
episode.
Robert Downey Jr. for a part. There were a couple other actors who. Brad Pitt turned down the role of D'Artagnan. William Baldwin, Johnny Depp, Gary Oldman, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Cary Elwes, and Al Pacino were also sought out by Disney for parts in the movie. I assume Pacino.
Elwes.
Yeah, no, Cary Elwes. Interestingly enough, Cary Elwes was actually involved in pre-production of this movie. There's an interview somewhere online, and I bet we can find it on YouTube, that has him and Charlie Sheen doing like a press conference to raise awareness that they were doing this movie. And then somewhere along the lines, some deal fell through. I don't know what happened, but Cary Elwes is clearly not in this movie.
I am actually a little crestfallen.
What if Cary Elwes played Athos instead of Kiefer?
I wouldn't have been all about Oliver Platt.
Even though Charlie Sheen gets top billing, it's Kiefer Sutherland's face like right in the middle of the poster.
I thought that was weird too.
Yeah. Anyway. During the final duel with Rochefort, when D'Artagnan leaps over him, true Star Wars fans will catch this.
Oh, yeah.
There's this jump over Rochefort that Chris O'Donnell, it's like a half-tuck turn, and then he lands on his feet, and Rochefort says, impressive. And that's what Darth Vader says to Luke Skywalker. You remember Star Wars?
Remember Spock?
Hey, Disney, remember Star Wars? Did you watch episodes 4, 5, and 6? Before you made your last 3 movies? I don't think you did.
No.
I don't think you did.
You can go back and watch that episode as well.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen really hated horses, and he was originally sought for the role of Porthos.
No.
Oliver Platt was sought out for Porthos in 2 different Three Musketeers movies because there was a film version of the Three Musketeers with Johnny Depp also in processing.
What?
And he was sought out to play Porthos in that one too.
What?
But that one never came to fruition.
Oh my God.
Thank God, and he ended up doing this one. And if you guys want to see a laughable sequel to this that has nothing to do with Disney, you need to watch Man in the Iron Mask.
Oh, Man in the Iron Mask.
Watch Man in the Iron Mask. I think I watched that like a year ago.
You did, and I have not seen it.
And Megan is in the kitchen, and I am just laughing my ass off from how
John Malkovich.
Horrible it is. It's John Malkovich not doing any semblance of an accent.
Everybody else is doing an accent except for him.
It's the Three Musketeers like 20 years after.
Yeah.
They saved the day. So now Louis' son is on the throne, and he's this terrible king.
He's a terrible
DiCaprio
king.
plays King Louis. And Jeremy Irons, who's fucking brilliant in the movie. He's like the only one really giving a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriel Byrne also doesn't do an accent, I don't think.
It's so random.
Gerard
It's
Depardieu
so bad.
It's
Leonardo DiCaprio.
You must watch Man in the Iron Mask if you want a quasi-sequel to this movie.
It's laughable. It's not,
so
at any rate.
Not as enjoyable as this one. That's it for trivia.
So, would you recommend this movie to anyone?
I would recommend this movie to anyone who just loves movies, who loves fun. I will say the critics tore this movie apart. It has like a 49%. People hated it. Like it was like a $30 million budget. It made, I think, $60 million at the theater, so it made double what it cost. So it was technically a success. But it wasn't in theaters for very long. People didn't really respond to it.
Well, I loved this movie.
I loved it too.
And Oliver Platt was a huge crush for me. That's when I realized I would fall in love with a man who was funny. Because I'm like, you have to marry a man that's funny because that does it for you, girl.
What happened?
Hey, I'm not sure.
That's funny.
That's funny?
That's funny.
No, I'm glad I married you.
Oh, thanks.
You're very funny.
Thank you.
You make me laugh,
You're
especially when you do the impression of what's his name?
John Malkovich on the subway?
No, that is funny though. You got John Malkovich on the subway.
This is John Malkovich as a subway conductor.
Yes, okay.
I'm going to do my best here to try and remember.
The 42nd Street one.
Okay. This is 42nd Street Port Authority Bus Terminal. Transfer is available to the C, the D, the F, Q, N, R, and W lines. Shuttle available to Grand Central. Connection is available to the Port Authority Bus Terminal. My son Raoul is dead. King Louis must die. God bless John Malkovich in the Man. It's so laughably awful. Please go watch The Man in the Iron Mask after you watch the movie.
The guy from Daredevil when he sat on the woman's cat.
Vincent D'Onofrio?
Yeah, there was this dumb joke. At any rate, you make me laugh.
That's an inside joke.
And I was gonna say something nice that I was like, and it was true enough. I married a man that makes me laugh.
Oh,
so yes. You do.
So I recommend this movie to anyone. Go watch it right now. It costs $4 to rent it on Amazon.
Absolutely,
you're not doing anything else. So
no, you're not doing anything else. And this is one that honestly, like, if you have kids, like, maybe just know that there's a good amount of like violent suggestions and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we turned out okay.
Yes, I think so. Right.
Kind of.
Lastly, I wanted to mention the sponsor for this week.
Oh, not our sponsor.
I mean, not a sponsor. Sorry, who we're donating money to? What do you
we
call
didn't.
It?
We didn't even say at the beginning.
Say at the beginning.
We have not said anything.
But I would
about
like to
we're...
tailgate this. Just kind of bridge into who we'd like to donate money to. The United Way is doing some really amazing work for first responders during this entire pandemic. These are the first responders, the fire department, the police department, the doctors and nurses who are working 20-hour shifts, who are working sick, who are sequestering themselves from their families because they know that they're sick, and when they come home, they can't actually be with their families because they don't want them to get infected.
Like, these are people that are heroes. These are the actual musketeers.
These are the actual heroes.
The actual musketeers that are keeping us all safe.
Anyone in any sort of government agency. These are the doctors and nurses. These are the boots on the ground.
One for all.
Handling these patients. So if you can, please donate money to the United Way. We're not going to do the whole Venmo thing now. So just get on their website. They're amazing.
We'll put it in the episode.
We'll put it in the episode for you guys to take a look at. But they're doing such amazing work. And
we're going to be donating today. So hopefully you can donate as well.
Yeah. So please donate to the United Way if you can, or at least help spread awareness.
Yes.
So
that's it. Instead of spreading disease, spread awareness and donate to United Way.
Thank you.
So I think that's everything. And we don't know what we're doing next. I realize though,
The Rocketeer would be a lot of fun.
Oh, The Rocketeer would be great.
Yeah.
I think this is actually our 16th episode of the third season.
Wow.
Which the last 2 seasons we've ended on our 16th episode.
Okay. Well, these are interesting.
These are interesting
unique times. So maybe we can
go to episode 20.
Maybe, yeah.
See what happens.
We got a couple more weeks.
We got a couple more weeks.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see how this goes.
So make sure that you like, subscribe, and share.
Yes. Please stay tuned to our Instagram because we'll probably rock the votes.
Yeah.
But I would love to do The Rocketeer. It was between this movie and The Rocketeer. I think that would be.
There were definitely some very strong votes for The Rocketeer. This just barely edged up.
I'm really enjoying revisiting the 90s.
I always loved the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I don't like about the 90s was thin eyebrows because I can't grow them back.
And Lisa Frank.
And Lisa.
For me.
What?
I'm saying I didn't enjoy Lisa Frank.
Okay.
It was too much.
Well, now we're going to get into our first fight.
Well, we should turn off the cameras before we get into our fight.
All right. So that people don't know that we fight because it's not normal and it's not okay to have any kind of disagreement.
Right, Rocket.
All right, everybody. Stay safe out there.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for listening. Be well, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.